Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful, God-filled, God-blessed day. I wanted to sit down and do a story time with you, sharing my journey from moving hospitals, from the re-diagnosis. So for just this video, I'm gonna use Hospital A and Hospital B, and let's call my doctors. I'll make up names as I go along for my doctors, just because I don't want to be sued or anything like that, and I don't know if calling them out would be I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so how I decided to move from Hospital A to Hospital B was simply be due to the diagnosis, the second restaging, re-diagnosis, whatever, right? Um, Initially I'd been with Hospital A, and Hospital A was the second hospital I went to in the first journey to get like a second opinion. And I ended up staying there just because their plan for me was something that I had appreciated. Like, I think that with hospital, let's call the very first hospital, Hospital C. With Hospital C, my mom, I don't think she was very settled with it because like, first and foremost, the plan was a little janky. He was just like, yeah, we're gonna just do mastectomy, cut off the boob, and then figure out what's gonna happen, and then take it from there. And then with that hospital, I would have to go to more than one hospital in order to receive treatment. And also keep in mind the Hospital C was like maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from my house. Hospital A is roughly about the same, about 45 minutes to an hour away from my house. So there was that. So it wasn't really about the travel, but I think that with that particular doctor, the plan that was in place or what he wanted to implement wasn't something that my mom was interested in hearing at that point in time. And I was kind of nervous about it as well, dealing with a smaller hospital. So we ended up going to a larger hospital, which is Hospital A, and getting treatment there. And I felt secure and confident in their care because my team that I was working with at Hospital A was predominantly women. Not that I have anything against men, but as I find that women are more empathetic and understanding, especially because they have the same parts. Men are not as tend to not be as empathetic simply because they don't have the same parts, so they wouldn't know what it means or the experience or the trauma that is associated with cutting off a body part that is, tied to your femininity. So with Hospital C, the lead doctor was a male, and with Hospital A, the lead doctors were women. And I did have one male doctor at Hospital A. So, I had entrusted my care to them, and Hospital A, they had placed a great plan in place. Simply like they had given me the option of doing the mastectomy and doing immediate reconstruction so that when I woke up, I would not wake up with like just a flat chest. I'd wake up with a bit of a mound, though it definitely would not match the other side. And at that time, I had opted to just do one. And I was given the option to do both later on, in which I later decided to proceed with the second mastectomy and to eliminate or reduce my the chances of reoccurrence. Great. You see how that helped me, right? Anyways, yeah, so with Hospital A, I felt more confident with their care. They're a larger hospital. I was like, okay, fine, let's go forward with this plan. Ended up going forward with it, and then they told me that I had to do the whole kit and caboodle, which is like Harvard. I had to do chemo, radiation, all that stuff, and it was simply because there was like a small percentage that had already migrated to my lymph nodes, and they had removed 6 lymph nodes in that particular surgery. So that's based on that information and the data that they collected, they decided and opted that that was the best option for me. So I ended up doing that, going through that. And then after I was deemed cured, how many months later, I continued in care because there's, after you finish chemo, there's um, post, like, you know, treatment care that you have to engage in and do for the most part. So, you know, it's been about 7 years that I was with them. And with this rediagnosis, or this new diagnosis uh, of stage 4 breast cancer, I felt betrayed, to be honest with you, because as I looked back on like my care, I felt like I was given the bare minimum. And I think it had something to do with the fact that they were confident that the reoccurrence was like a 0.5%. They were like, it's like very rare. I don't think it's ever going to come back. You'll be fine, blah, 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 blah. And not only did I opt to do one mastectomy, I opted to do two. But the problem with that mastectomy was that it was like, for me personally, looks wise, aesthetically, it was messed up. Like, my surgeon, she like did me dirty, and absolutely wrong. Wrong. I'm telling you, like, it was horrendous. I woke up and I was just devastated by the look of it, and I thought it would get better, but it didn't. And I think I didn't look in the mirror for like, I don't know, months probably, especially where like below the neck. I was just like, I'm not looking, I'm not even checking for this because I'm so upset. And yeah, so that is something that had impacted my perception of like the care that I received. Initially, I thought like they did a pretty good job for the most part, because they also provided like different care, like psychotherapy and stuff like that. And I had that several times, which I truly appreciate, because I was going through a really dark time in my life during that season, and that was something that was offered immediately. And then like after my sessions were over, if I needed more, I just needed to ask, and I did. So I had like a couple different sessions where I was sitting with a therapist and talking about like the different things that I was experiencing, and kind of working through some of the hurts and traumas associated with cancer, and like associated with my early life. So yeah, so hospital A got that right. But I feel, and like the care that they gave me was okay. But as I said, looking back after I was restaged in September, I realized that after I was deemed cured, um, they didn't do any more CT scans throughout the years that I've been with them. The only thing that they did for me, if I complained, like if I was feeling a pain or discomfort, they would do like ultrasounds or whatever. I saw one of my med-oncs yearly after the first year, and that was fine. So every doctor that I had dealt with, like they slowly just discharged me from their care, and I was just dealing with like one doctor or two doctors unless I complained about something, and then they would do something. But throughout the 8 years that I was with them, I did not have a CT scan or an like I had ultrasounds, but no CT scan, no MRIs to like check on anything else, because as I said, like they're like the probability of it coming back, reoccurrence is very low. So I was kind of upset about that, because, you know, when I found out about the tumor in my lung, I was just upset, because I was just like, yo, like, you're supposed to be taking care of me. Like, I put my trust in you as a doctor to lead and guide me. You're supposed to be the best in your field, the expert of the experts, know everything, do everything. And I feel like you failed me. And not only did they fail me with my care, they failed me with like, when I had my second mastectomy. It was just rough, and I'm just gonna stop here and go to part 2, simply because like I don't want it to be too long. So stay tuned for part 2.